the other stuff was happening, but you're right. That's the short version of what happens. There's also there's also a lot of Rayner being kind of a jerk in the meeting with the Admiral and having to get kicked out, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and Book wasn't very happy either when they decided to give Maul over to the Breen.
Oh yeah, there's all that Breen stuff. The Breen are a very strong and terrible adversary. So I watched all that, and then I watched this episode. It's funny because as I was watching this episode, I was thinking, so way back pre-season, I had a chance to do like a little 5-minute interview panel with the creators, and I thought I didn't ask them, and just watching this, I was like, oh, I wonder like how much fun it was for the writers to write this kind of adventure mystery, or did they bring in extra writers who have experience writing this kind of like, this was very clue-erific this week, right? Where they have to find a clue and there's a test and right?
I mean, the creators of the show have done a lot of stuff, not just Star Trek. So I mean, they've done stuff like this before. So I'm pretty sure this was their, kind of combination. Like, for our final season of Discovery, I have an idea. These guys wrote for Fringe.
Well, they did. Now they don't necessarily. What I'm getting at, I guess, is I don't know if they write because they creators don't always write, but I think they do write.
They are.
I think actually Michelle. Oh, so this was written by Lauren Wilkinson and Eric Robbins, who are staff writers on the show, I guess. Yeah. But you're right. Everybody's written for other stuff. And I don't mean to imply that a writer can only write one kind of a thing. But it must have been really fun writing this stuff. And this was a clue that involved like Michael having to pass a test. I liked the test, but I kind of didn't love where that test ended. Right. Like I liked the test. I liked actually the whole thing with the library. And I liked the librarian who I felt was like a little.
She was quirky.
She reminded me of Tilly a little bit, I guess, because of that quirkiness, right? And I liked the idea of this library, and I liked the part where the librarian's like, look, the Breens are dues-paying members of the library also. I can't keep them out, right?
Yeah.
And I liked all of that. The test, I actually kind of liked that the test happened inside Michael's mind. I just felt it became pretty obvious how it was going to end. And it was a little, I don't know. I guess I shouldn't knock it too much because as we near the series finale, of course, there's going to be Michael like having a moment of self-realization and like, right, like major character growth there and whatever.
Well,
I just felt it was a little touchy-feely. Then again, it was a Beta Z who set it up.
Yeah. It's funny when I was watching it, I was like, Jesus, I was like, Burnham is doing some deep soul searching right now. Mm-hmm. I think it's kind of obvious the direction it's going because the next step is her talking to Book. Yeah. So that by the finale, they're back together.
Oh, they're definitely getting. The fact that the subconscious chose Book.
Well, yeah, obviously.
And how many times in this episode did she say, "I should have told you. I should have told him. I should have told him." Right, like.
You know what my favorite part of the episode is, though? When the librarian, when she says to Book, she's like, is your name really Book? And he's like, yeah. She's like, oh, this is awesome. Like, this is the first time a Book has come to the library to visit me.
Yeah, that was cute. Well, I like that there was a Quajon artifact. I'm surprised there was actually only one Quajon artifact, or maybe only one that they
that played out completely different than I was expecting. I really thought that Book was going to get them in trouble. Like, I was like, Book's going to go there, and he's going to be like, you have no right to have this. I'm taking it. And the library was going to be like, no, you can't take it. And it was the exact opposite. I was like, okay, that did not go like I thought at all.
Yeah. And it looked to be just a little wood carving. He's like, this is from like some kind of Quajon tree, and it's a little carving, and it means a lot to me. But I kind of wonder if that's a Chekhov's gun situation where we saw it now and we'll see it again. And I don't know if it'll be like a clue solving thing, but it might be the thing that brings somehow brings, like, as part of him and Maul. Obviously, I think Book and Maul have to find a connection before the end of the series, right? We can't leave him alone in the universe and have the only other Qui-Gon, like, estranged from him. And I wonder if that little carving is somehow going to be.
It could. And speaking of Maul, she played that perfectly. She's a really very, very good manipulator, which really didn't take that much for her to manipulate, because the leader there, he is a complete jerk. Like
the Breen guy.
Yeah.
The what's he called? The Proxima.
Prior.
His name is the not the progenitor. That's who made the clues.
Yeah, no.
His name is I forget what they call him. It starts with a P,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, Priori or some shit like that. Anyway,
Primarch.
that jerk.
Primarch.
There we go. Yeah, that jerk. He's such a jerk. It was easy for Maul to be like, you guys really want to follow this guy? You know?
Yeah. She really, yeah. I mean, they laid that groundwork early that she was like, he doesn't care about you guys. So do you think Maul, like, is now the leader of the Breens, basically?
Kind of. I kind of got that feeling.
She's amazing.
Yeah. And you know what the funny thing is? I actually, while I don't want the Breen to get their hands on the technology, I do want there to be some way to use the progenitor's technology to bring Locke back.
Because, like, he was such a nice guy, and yeah. I mean, she's
definitely Clyde, and he was definitely Bonnie.
Yeah, right? They're definitely the opposite. I think that she's going to be disappointed. I don't know that the Pretender's technology is going to be what it is. Like,
what they think it is.
What they think it is, right? And I mean, yes, the seeds for this were sown way back in Voyager or whatever. But I think it's not going to be what they think it is, and it's definitely not going to be what Locke thinks. What Maul thinks it is. I think
you're right.
I think even if the Pretenders could create life, I think maybe it can't recreate life, or they made it so that it won't, because when you're dead, you should be dead. And she's gonna have to face the fact of, like, the end of life. And as I'm talking this through, I think it parallels a little bit the destruction of Qui-Gon, and Book having to accept that everyone's gone and he's alone, and Maul having to accept that Locke is gone and she's alone, maybe. Sorry, ambulance. Do you hear that?
Yes.
Right? Like, I think it's not going to be. First of all, it can't be. How can this show end with them finding a technology that can create life?
Yeah, no, I don't think it's going to. I've thought that all along, that it's not going to be what they think it's going to be.
It can't be that. There's no way somebody would.
Or I mean, there is a way it could be, but only if it's not used. If it's found and protect. You know, that's the thing, though. Why do you need to find and protect something that's already been so well protected?
Yeah.
That, I mean, not for nothing. This last test, there is no way anybody of ill gains passes that test. There's no way anybody in the Breen passes that.
There's no way anybody really in the world should pass it. And it really is kind of thin that Michael passed it. Like, oh, because you feel guilt and insecurity, that's the only way we know that you would use it. I'm like, wait, what?
Not for nothing. Not for nothing. Michael was just throwing his shit against the wall until something stuck. And then when she stopped, and then when she stopped and got real, she's like, okay, there's one light left. I'm about to die. And that's when she just finally was like, well, since I'm going to die any second.
Yeah. So she can only be trusted if she thinks she's going to die. And I think, like, has she really? I mean, it also was a silly test because, like, so she had a test and there was a program, but it was kind of like her own mind created the test. So is there any way she really could have ever failed that test, right? I don't know. The idea that I just think you proved yourself because you have fear and insecurity is just not. It was a little weak there. I think there's a bigger lesson. Like it's going to turn out that the technology doesn't exist at all, and they're being taught a lesson about what it means to pursue a powerful technology or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Definitely, Locke is not coming back to life.
No, I don't think he actually would. I'm just saying I kind of want him to because I feel poor Locke.
Oh yeah, I really like him. And he's a good character, and like he's the only good Breen. I mean, the Breen are a very warlike and aggressive species. They're like worse than Klingons, right?
And he's not.
Yeah. How do you like the idea that there's one secret clue that only Burnham knows, and it wasn't shared with us, the audience?
I like it. I kind of, I do like it. I like when they hold things back from the audience sometimes because sometimes I don't like when we know things that other people don't, and then those people don't ever talk about those things that they should have a conversation about, and we know the thing, and we're sitting there going, "Hello."
Yeah.
Yeah. So I kind of like this little last secret.
And it's the one way that she can maybe beat the Breen. The Breen are superior with firepower, with technology, with
what I did like though was when she told Runner that there's one more secret that she knows that there's no way the Breen could ever figure out, and he's like, could Maul figure it out? And she was like, So I kind of do like that while she has this secret, Maul is smart enough to figure it out.
I like that because it's not like a secret, like it's like a secret chemical formula or a secret power. It's like a secret, maybe logistical, or like the answer to opening a lock or something like that. That she's really. I mean, I like that. I really like Maul as a character, and you know how much I hated the last character, this Eve. What's her name? Eve. That this actress played. I hated Maya on the 100 so much, right? I love.
She was on. She was also after the 100. She was on Agents of Shield, and I didn't like her character on that either. But I like Maul. I like Maul.
Yeah, she's so smart, and she's a worthy intellectual adversary. Like so many times, the Star Trek, particularly in this season of Discovery, they get a solution by like 3 or 4 or 5 people on the crew, each contributing one little nugget of information, right?
Yeah.
Like these 2 episodes have been really interesting in that, Lieutenant Reno has like contributed a little bit here and there, and Adira is so, and
I like watching Adira gain confidence each week.
Yes.
Because they are very, they're always very unsure of themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
So I just want to say I read an interesting kind of theory on, was it on Screen Rant? Because I do read Screen Rant sometimes. It's on Screen Rant, yeah. Somebody there had a theory. One of the writers had a theory. So I just said, like, is that little carving gonna be the thing that brings Book and Maul together? And in their review on Screen Rant, they kind of said, like, now that Book has found another connection to Quajon, will he kind of, they didn't say give up on Maul, but will he stop being so intent on saving her at all costs? Like,
because that's out of character for Book.
You think so? Because that root is like, how he's an empath, and that root like helped them. Yeah. Those trees helped them all to talk to each other, and like, would he have to cut her off? They said.
No, I don't think he gives up on her.
Do you think that
little? Not who Book is.
Do you think that little root could grow again and like recreate Quajon, basically?
That's possible. Anything's possible.
Anything's possible. It's Star Trek.
I mean,
Not even
yeah.
speculating on that.
You could maybe plant it on a different planet and turn it into Quajon.
Yeah, right.
I don't know. It's Star Trek,
Yeah.
so who the hell knows?
Yep.
So
is next week a double episode finale? We got 2 episodes.
not that I'm aware of.
So we got 2 weeks. We got 2 weeks to go.
Yeah, you know, I hate when you say stuff like that, but let me check.
Well,
Now.
I'm just making shit up when I say stuff like that. It's a double. It's a 2 episode.
No, it's 2 weeks.
All right, because they're calling it a 2 episode finale, but they're just 2 weeks apart. 2 weeks is fine with me. I think
that's bad. That's bad wording.
Well, I don't know if they're calling it that, but some people are calling it that.
Yeah, no, it's 2 episodes. 2 weeks. 1 episode in 2 days and 1 in 9 days.
Okay.
So, all right. Well, thank you everybody for sticking. There was a couple people who found us for part 2 after the little technical snafu, and we will do it again next week, and Karen will be all caught up.
I will. Promise. All
right. Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Good night.